Alan Kyerematen's independent presidential candidate is my guest today on Hot Issues. Again, thank you so much for sitting with us here on the program. But I'd ask, well, what makes Alan different from John Dramani Mahama, and especially Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, particularly because people assume, the NPP becomes used to be denominator between the two of you?
Well, let me start off by saying that the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is the Vice President. He has had all the opportunity working with the President to do whatever he can do for this country. And let me be very, very fair to the sitting President. The sitting President has been fair to the Vice President. He's giving him all the opportunity to run this country. The man is tired. There's nothing new he can do. And that's a fact. Now with my friend and brother, JDM, he's been president before. We know that there's nothing new that my brother can be doing. The people of Ghana are looking for an alternative. That is exactly what it is. They are looking for an alternative. Fortunately, they have an alternative who can get the job done. With honesty, with selflessness, with competence, and with integrity, and with a big vision. So that's the difference. The people want change. And you have somebody who is ready to lead that change. So that's basically what it is. And people don't realize. You see, somehow, maybe because I don't talk too much, people think that, oh, but where did Alan come from? And things like that. Again, the difference between an autobiography and a biography is the same content. One, you write it yourself, and the other one, somebody writes it for you. I've always hoped that people will write it for me. But if
it's time to write your own.
I have to write my own biography. No, because God has been great to me.
At your resignation announcement, September 25th, 2023, you said, all the promises made by the party leadership were never fulfilled, and indeed the divisive and hostile attacks on my person and my supporters remained for several years thereafter and have continued till this date. This was in reference to the very first one.
Yeah, the very first one,
indeed. So my question is, this existed even at the time that President Akufo-Addo gave you that appointment. Why did you take it if you thought that the party was being unfair to you?
But Kems, I've been a founding member of the NPP. I've put my energy, my resources in bringing this party up. I believe in the ideals of the founding members of the party. Now, remember, I was the chairman of a group called the Young Executive Forum that really provided the financial resources for the development of the party from inception. That record is there. It is that same Young Executive Forum that brought to limelight people like Kojoba Radio of blessed memory, Kandapa, Minister for National Security, Kwabena Japan, Maria Osei Chairman, Mark Menu, all these, Cecilia Dapa, all these great leaders of our party now, they were all from the Young Executive Forum. So I paid my dues. But it comes to a time when you have to make sure that you remain faithful to the ideals and not just to the party itself. I hope you understand. There's a difference. The ideals are there. Enterprise, private enterprise, making sure that you expand opportunities for people to unleash their own potential. Those are ideals that I believe in. But if I cannot get the party to be able to transform itself, to remain loyal to the ideals, what's the point in staying there? Then it means that I cannot. Yes, it's true. I'm a politician. As I speak now, I'm looking for power. But remember, I am also fighting for a cause. I'm fighting for a cause.
Yeah, so why did you take that appointment?
Yeah, but why not? Because it's a, no, but you know, and normally I don't like to say this, but the first time you were talking about the first time I resigned, it took the party hierarchy to plead with me at that time when I threatened to resign, to plead with me not to go out of the party. And so I felt that for a whole party to find me so valuable, to actually plead for me to stay in the party, that in itself meant that I was... So
but the attacks continued. Would you say that there was really true forgiveness at that point?
Well, basically, I've existed because of what I've said. So what I've said exactly goes to... But your question was, why regardless, yes. So I'm talking about the faith in the ideals. Okay. You know, but the party itself, they know that they have to transform. They have to go through that transformation. So
are your ideals now as Movement for Change any different from that of the NPP?
I've gone beyond that. Okay. I've gone beyond those ideals.
Okay.
What the movement now is talking about ideals, which is not just complementary, but actually taking it much, much further.
On the subject of the NPP, 4 people were removed from the party because of you. Where are they now?
Oh, they are still with me.
Okay.
Because it's about principles. And frankly, you just look at the people who they have our principles. I mean, they believe not just what I am, what I stand for, but also the fact that they themselves are fighting for a certain cause, you know. And so I don't think there's a problem with that.
There is the belief that there are those still within the party who have suffered repercussions because of the support for you prior to your leaving the party. Should they leave the NPP and join you soon? If, you know, I mean.
Well, normally I try to leave that to their own
But are you
judgment.
surprised that that's happening? That, you know, people are suffering consequences because they support you even before you left?
But absolutely, and it is bad. You know, for me, how can a party that claims to believe, you know, in the values that, I mean, the founders of the party established, be punishing people because they are fighting for a certain cause? But it is counterproductive, because let me tell you one thing. You see, somehow the two dominant parties, and I hear this conversation all the time. Oh, that we have, you know, 6 million people. They don't have it. I'm telling you, they don't have it. If between the two parties, their core membership, and you can check it, their core membership, meaning those who have registered, their core membership, in this case, may not even be 1 million, more than 1 million each. Okay. What they are having are sympathizers and floating voters, independent voters. Okay. I'm telling you, the core members.
And you think you have what it takes to close.
But that's the whole thing. Okay. But I'm not here to debate anybody. Let's wait. We'll meet at the general election. Because what I'm saying is that there are people who were looking for an alternative. They are not card-bearing members. But the 6 million people that vote for the parties, they are not registered core members of the party. There's a large number of people out there who can make a decision anyway that, look, we don't think that the party as they stand now can take us any further.
Do you think you are reaching that large number?
You see, I came out of the party and some of my old colleagues were making noises. He can leave. He doesn't, you know, nobody will fall, he can leave. I just made one statement. And I decided that let me go to the stronghold of my former party.
Right.
I was just having a health walk. You saw how many people came? 70% of the crowd who were waiting in Ashanti region just to come to the could not even get to Kumasi. So, well, let's meet at the general election. That's what I would say.
But when we look at independent presidential candidates, those who have attempted, those who have managed to get there, the performance has not been one that could win an election. Is Alan wasting his time, perhaps, given that historical context?
I'm surprised that you have the courage to talk about wasting my time. No.
You're not.
You see, because again, we don't need to sit here to be evaluating others, their performance. I can only talk about myself.
Indeed.
But I'm telling you.
But I'm using that historical context.
No, understand, but I'm telling you that, look, the circumstances are completely different. For one or two reasons. Number one, I've been a dominant figure in Ghanaian politics. There is no village in Ghana where I go and they cannot recognize my face or recognize my name. No village in Ghana. I've been a dominant figure in MPP politics. So it's different from what others have done. But I cannot talk about the others. But beyond that, apart from the fact that I've been a dominant figure in Ghanaian politics, beyond that, if there was ever a time in this country when the desire for an independent candidate beyond the two parties, if there was ever a time, that time is now. So it's the circumstances that create that difference. People are looking for an alternative who is credible, who is competent, who is honest, and who is selfless. That is the difference. So let us not compare my situation with others.
One of the different things you've also planned to do is, again, if you're coming in as an independent candidate, you'd have to have a team, people who work for you, and based on the constitutional requirements, you have people from Parliament. You've said that you're ready to work with both sides. Do you think that if you were president today, you'd have people from the NPP wanting to work with you?
I've made a commitment that I'm going to establish a government of national unity. That would involve people from NPP, people from NDC, CPP, all the small parties, business community, religious leaders, farmers, everybody. You understand me? That's a government by the people, for the people, and of the people. How can you even think that somebody from MPP who has this opportunity to work in a new government that is supported by the majority of Ghanaians will say that, no, I don't want to work in that government? Because remember, when I win power and I establish that government of national unity, and because of my record, I can tell you'll be surprised the number of people. And I'm not, at that point, I'm not asking them to leave NPP. Serving in a government of national unity is not about, you can stay in your party and serve in that.
I take it as there'll be a lot of scrutiny, considering that,
Yes, because it will not be job for the boys.
What would it take?
Of course, it's now going to be based on capacity and capability. I mean, why, if you don't have the capacity, why would I be fighting to bring, well, at any rate, why is it that people who are not necessarily in frontline politics, but who have the capacity, why should we keep them out of government? If I feel that comes, the way you are drilling me in my interview, you have the competence, does that mean that you should be a member of NPP before you can serve in government? So
we've seen you do a 360 return to the party. Is there a future like that? Would you ever return to the party? What would it take?
No, but I have established my own political movement.
Yes.
And I'm fighting to become the next president of Ghana. So the return is not on the table. Because basically what I'm saying is that I'm asking the people of Ghana to put their faith and trust in me. Because I'm going to get the economy to work again. I'm going to fight corruption. And so basically the issue of going back to do what?
Well, we've seen it before. We're just asking.
No, but it's different. The circumstances are different. The circumstances are different. And obviously, I can tell you that a lot of people in the NPP are not talking. A lot of, because they know my performance, they know my credibility, and they know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
They are not talking. Please don't contaminate them. Let them wait and take their own decision when the time comes.
I have no contaminants. But I do want us to discuss the elections. And as an independent candidate, you're not an IPAC. But a lot of decisions will be taken that would affect you.
Well, I think that the Electoral Commission would have to consider the role that independent candidates would play in the IPAC architecture. Because these are potential presidents. You know,
that's a proposal that the NDC has made in the last IPAC meeting.
Yeah, so
it seems you're on the same wavelength with the NDC
well,
on that score.
Yeah, because I think that it's only fair that if I come out, you know, as an independent candidate, there must be an entry point or an arrangement for us to have representation. Yeah.
But do you see how that could impact your bid to be president, your presidential bid? Do you see not being on IPAC right now?
Well, as I said, we are having discussions on that one.
Okay.
But I think the important thing is for us to go ahead, or for me to go ahead and prosecute my campaign, because
Indeed.
in the long run, it's the people who are going to vote. All we require the Electoral Commission to do is to provide a level playing field, you know, for all candidates.
I see.
And hopefully, if they agree for independent candidates to be represented, then that would be a good thing.
Have you heard some of the reforms that the Electoral Commission is proposing? One of that being would no longer use the indelible ink. The other also being closing the polls at 3 p.m. We know that IPAC discussions on moving the elections from December 7th to November. What's your position on these?
They are all positions that I kindly am reflecting in my governance cluster.
Right.
So at my next interview with you, I'll tell you my final positions on that.
If this bid fails, could that be the end of the political career for Alan Kyerematen?
Absolutely no. Because, as I said, I'm fighting for power, but I'm also fighting for a political cause.
Okay.
And it's as simple like that.
So if it fails,
so
you come again?
There are two sides of the same coin. There are two sides of the same coin.
Okay. I'm trying to understand that. If it fails, you come again, or you are hoping to have a political party at the end of the day.
Let us not talk about that. Let's talk about when I become president.
Okay.
So that assumption, it's not an assumption that we should be discussing now.
Do you hope?
Carry on.
Do you hope?
Yeah.
Or are you looking at a future where Movement for Change morphs into a political party?
Oh, it's a transition that would occur naturally.
I see.
It's a transition that will occur because, as I said, the important thing is not the fact that it's a political party. It's the architecture of a new government and a political system that is important.
So Alan is going to be around for a while?
Yes,
indeed.
Hopefully as the next president of the Republic of Ghana.
We wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sitting with us.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.